What's up, everybody? We're back again with another episode of TECSpertz. My name is Nick Green, the News and Sports Director with WZMB.
My name is Caleb Johnson, sports reporter for the East Carolinian.
And I'm Ken Gates, station manager for WZMB.
And we have one more episode for you guys for the rest of this semester. We will not have another episode for you guys until January when we are back here again at ECU for the spring semester. So this is going to be very much an overview of all three sports, football, men's basketball, and women's basketball right now. We won't get too specific in any of them right now, except for maybe football because it's easy to get specific with football right now, and we just finished that up. So let's go ahead and start with some football, gentlemen. I almost said ladies and gentlemen. I held off. We're gentlemen here. ECU football, 2 weeks ago, brutal loss, 58-24 to UTSA. Took us out of conference championship hopes on that. Granted, it wouldn't have ended up mattering anyway, but we'll get into that in just a minute. And then this week, bounced back with a 42-3 win over Florida Atlantic. Finishing the season 8-4, first time since 2014. ECU's finished with 8 wins. Gentlemen, what were your thoughts on these two games in the season overall?
The UTSA one, obviously, we're not going to talk much about that because that was pretty brutal. UTSA at home is very good. We all knew that going into it. They beat Tulane a few weeks ago by 22 points. And then FAU, we came back, we handled business, did what we needed to do. We made it FAU, who Veldkamp, their quarterback, was, I believe, the passing yard leader in the American. We held him to only about 180 yards. He looked shaken all day. We really were stopping a very solid FAU offense. The only gripe I could really say about that game was we took our foot off the gas pedal in the second half, but at the same time, it's the last game of the year. I ain't going to be complaining too much.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say it much better than myself. I mean, disappointing against UTSA. Obviously, it doesn't matter in the long run. But that was definitely a deflating loss. And to see the team come out and rally and handle business like they did in the last game of the season versus FAU was super promising. Nonetheless, a great regular season so far. I mean, improvement, and we're going to go to a bowl game. So back-to-back bowl games in the Harrell era. Can't really complain too much. Got another year next year. Hopefully we keep some of the same guys around and we can get a better result.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about the bowl game projections a little bit later on in this episode. I don't want to get too much into that right now. But you're right, 8 wins. We will be playing in a bowl game. It's a matter of which bowl game. We don't know that at this very moment, but we'll find out in the next few weeks where we're going to be playing at exactly. And we'll see.
This weekend.
Yeah, it will be this weekend, actually. We'll find out this weekend as to where we'll be playing. Sorry, I got my days confused. Sorry. You're right. It's okay. We'll get there. Still got a little bit of a Thanksgiving brain, but that's okay. But yeah, no, overall, I agree with you guys. Brutal loss to UTSA. I mean, we just didn't show up at all. Offense wasn't there, defense wasn't there. It really wasn't until the second half when we saw anything going in the UTSA game. And at that point, it was too far gone. It was just an embarrassing loss to UTSA. And like I said, I don't know if it's the Alamo Dome. I don't really know. I mean, I know Jeff Traylor said that this was a very personal game for him after last year of how physical we were. But, I mean, golly, I don't know what we did last year. I know we had that meme of Owen McCown with his helmet off, but at the same time, like, how personal was that meme? I mean, golly, I didn't think it was, anything too crazy. But, that being said, props to them. They came and played, and they beat our tail in. I mean, there's no way around it. They absolutely beat us. It wasn't close. But you're right, to see the boys bounce back, 42-3 win, in a game that they could have easily just, taken the foot off the brakes the whole time. They could have taken the foot off the gas the whole time in the game. They didn't. They came out to play 42-3. I believe we had 42 points at halftime. We just didn't score again after that, but we had 42 points at halftime. So overall, very good win by the boys at Florida Atlantic to finish off the year. Gentlemen, I know going into this year for football, we kind of had predictions around this point. Are you guys disappointed with the season, or are you guys thrilled? Is this exactly what you kind of expected about the season from where we first started? What are your guys' thoughts overall from the beginning of the year?
This is about where I thought we'd land. We really should have been 9-3. That was a tough one to UTSA. But when you really look at our schedule, there's no reason why we should have been 11-1. Had a tough loss since State at the beginning of the year. Should have beat Tulane at their place. BYU, whatever, that's a loss. And then UTSA, we should have won as well. We got blown out, yes, but I don't know what happened there. But no, it's pretty much exactly where I thought we'd land, 8-4. We're always going to have a head-scratching loss. That's just going to have that's the Pirate way. It's always going to happen. UTSA being that one this year. But outside of that, we played good football for most of this year, not much I can complain about as you look at the season as a whole. And I mean, I'm excited for a bowl game and for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say it better myself. I mean, this is kind of exactly where I thought we would be at. Obviously, bowl eligible, positive record, and competing for a conference championship, and that's exactly what we did. The progression this season was great. We've continued to get better each and every week, and that's something I think the coaching staff and the guys can hang their hat on and build off of for next year. So yeah, looking forward to year 3 of the Harrell era. Hopefully we can get another bowl game win. That'd be nice, some more hardware.
Yeah, 100%. That would be very nice. Hopefully we can add to that this year. But I agree, guys. This is kind of exactly where I thought we'd be at the end of the year. I think this is overall a very good season for the Pirates in terms of football. We saw a lot of things come back to life for the Pirates, obviously starting some new traditions in Dowdy-Finkley. We got the fireworks added, some things that we will take away for a while. I'm pretty sure fireworks are a permanent thing in Dowdy-Finkley. I know we saw them for the remainder of this season. I'd be shocked if they took them away from us again. I think the fireworks will be permanent there. So, I mean, it's definitely some things that we're going to look back on and be like, man, we were there the first time this happened, and it was really cool to see. Being able to storm the field one time this season was very, very fun to do. So yeah, overall, I mean, was it the game I thought we'd do it at? No, not really. I thought it was going to be BYU, to be honest with you, going into the year. But that's okay. We still got to do it. Happy about that. But overall, it's still just I think it's a good season overall. It'll be a great season if we win the bowl game. I'm going to say good season right now. That's where I'm kind of at right now in terms of that. But we will talk more about the bowl game later on in this episode. We don't want to get spoiled too much right now. Let's move on to women's basketball real fast. Women's basketball currently sits at 4-4. We just finished up the Puerto Rico shootout, where we went 2-1 with wins against Illinois State and Hofstra. I can't read my own handwriting. And then we lost to UCF, which was a previous American school. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the women's basketball season right now? The Puerto Rico shootout. What were your thoughts overall right now?
The women's are kind of up and down. That's kind of what we expect them to be, especially early on in the year. Going 2-1 though down in the PR is a very good sign for what can come with this Lady Pirate team. We're coming with a tough one on Wednesday night against James Madison, but after that, we really have a lot of winnable games with Elon, UNC Asheville, Wofford, Campbell, and UAB in the month of December. No games I don't see why we can't win. But it's still gonna be tough no matter what. The Lady Pirates They kind of it's the Pirate way, as I mentioned earlier. They're gonna drop a game that they shouldn't lose, and so yeah. But I think going 2-1 though, we'll definitely take beating Illinois State and Hofstra.
Yeah, I mean the women are sitting right under 500, I believe. They don't really have a standout win to me. I think their biggest win is probably UNCW. Is that what you would say?
Probably
so far. So there's a good strength of schedule coming up to see where the ladies are really at. But it's the same things that we continue to go over with this women's basketball team for what's been 2 years now, at least from what I've been watching. And it's a lack of efficiency, lack of bench production, and they can't shoot the deep ball at all. So just cleaning up those things, tend to see as the season goes on, they start to pick up a little bit, and the ladies put together some good wins usually. So I've got faith that they can have a pretty solid season this year.
No, I agree with you guys. I mean, I know it's been very inconsistent right now from the women's basketball team, especially inconsistent on who's going to be scoring the points for us.
True.
That's been the number one question mark as to who's going to get production out of the team. And granted, on one hand, I'm happy we're seeing production all over the roster. It's not just a starting five. We'll see it out of Taylor Barner one game. We'll see it out of Olivia Hilliard. I mean, we'll see these random people get good production, but at the same time, you want more consistency out of your players, and I think that to me, that's what this comes down to.
Yeah, Barner will get good production, but then won't play the next game.
Exactly, and so it's like I want to see more consistency with the production out of the players that we would like to see. I think the only one who's been super consistent right now, there's been three who I'd be like have been the most consistent to me. Kennedy Fauntleroy, Savannah Brooks, and Ann Zane Hutton have been the three who I'd say are the most consistent. And even amongst them, there's been games where I'm like, okay, but they didn't do anything that game. So very, very interesting to see that. To me, that's the number one thing. Gentlemen, we have about a month left before conference play starts. Is there anything specific that you guys think we need to do before that starts to kind of get momentum on our side going into conference play?
It's kind of just keep our foot on the gas pedal, I'd say. Yeah, there's a lot of issues, but there's no reason why we can't finish this month strong, especially as I mentioned earlier. This is a solid Lady Pirate squad. I think they can do good things. It's a matter of if they're going to, and I don't know why they can't. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Kim McNeil is such a great coach. It's really early in the year. There's a lot of things that need tuning up, rebounding, turnovers, shooting efficiency, things of that nature, which we see teams struggle early on with and then get better as the season moves on. So I think it's just the natural progression of things, and it's spearheaded by a great leader. So I think that we'll see them get it done.
I agree. Cleaning up turnovers is big for me, but also I think we just haven't seen, believe it or not, we haven't seen enough aggressive defense. When we play aggressive defense, I mean, it's turned to be very efficient for us, but I mean, you haven't seen as much full court press like we normally see out of a Kim McNeil squad, which I don't get me wrong, I think that will come back at some point. I mean, you'll see it occasionally throughout a game, but it's not the consistent full court press that you typically see out of Kim McNeil. But that's something that maybe we'll see again coming up in the next few weeks before conference play. But it's just stuff like that. I mean, we got to get momentum on our side. We got to win a few in a row, and we got to be consistent with it going into conference play. Is one thing that I want to make sure we emphasize. Because obviously, I mean, the non-conference games, they matter, but they don't. Really, it's going to matter when it comes down to conference play. We just got to fine-tune everything and get everything back to where it needs to be before we go into conference play. Now, gentlemen, let's talk about some men's basketball for a second. This one I'm a little hesitant to even talk about, but we're going to talk about it. 2-5 overall, 0-2 in the Fort Myers. 0-2 in Fort Myers with losses to Michigan State and to St. Bonaventure. Close loss to St. Bonaventure, but we got absolutely blown out by Michigan State, who also blew out UNC Chapel Hill. So, we'll see them later on in the year, but we'll see how that goes. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the men's basketball team right now?
The St. Bonaventure loss, I'm honestly pleasantly surprised with how far they came. They didn't shoot the ball well in that game either, that's probably going to be a theme that we mentioned in pretty much every single podcast the rest of the year. But 67 to 58 lost St. Bonaventure in a close game. It really was close the whole way. Jordan Riley was really the one who kept us in that game, scoring 28 points. That's what I thought. Should make it four from 6 from 3. But I will say this: Corey Calker is the biggest liability on this Pirates team, and one of the biggest liabilities I think I've seen out of a Pirate player over the last 2 or 3 years. Because 1 for 12, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, but also had 4 turnovers. I mean, you just can't have that. It's been pretty bad when he's been out there. I know he's still adjusting to this level, but a lot of this team is adjusting to this level, and they're playing a little bit better than that. I mean, I'm expecting bigger things and better things out of Corey Calker. But I think that St. Bonaventure game was a step in the right direction. Now, a lot of that game is relied on Jordan Riley scoring 28 points, in which he might have to do a couple games this year. That may be a reason why we win a couple games this year. We got that go-to guy, and sometimes that's what you got to do to win games. But that game was definitely a step in the right direction. Considering how much crap we talked about him over the last couple weeks, I did feel better about that game. And we're going into a little stretch here where we should win our next couple games, or at least be in contention with some tougher teams. So we'll see what happens.
I'm just gonna say this team is just straight up not good. Can't really pull any punches here. This roster is really, really, really thin. There's really just 2 players that stand out to me, and that's Gio and Jordan Riley. And I think this team is just lacking guard play. I've been saying this since the opening night of the basketball season, is that the reason we've been losing these games is because we cannot find consistent support for those 2 players, whether that be off the bench, in the starting 5, wherever it is. This team turns the ball over an immense amount of times, and they play not great defense. It's really sickening. We haven't made big wins. Whoa.
No way.
That's the first time that's
Hey, we'll give it technical
difficulties, guys. There it goes.
We haven't had any majorly big wins over smaller opponents. We've got a chance to do that this week, so I'd like to see us take a step in the right direction. Like Cannon said, I guess we can be a little bit optimistic about the St. Bonaventure loss, just because I didn't expect us to be in that game, like he said. But there's a lot to improve on, a lot to get better on. Conference play is coming up, and this team looks very weak. So we will see what Mike Schwartz has for us in terms of adjustments coming up.
Yeah, I agree with you. No way to put it. I do agree. This team right now is not good. Gio and Jordan Riley are definitely the heavyweights carrying this team right now. But, at the same time, do I trust Mike Schwartz? Absolutely, I do. I mean, I know it's been a hot button topic right now with Mike Schwartz. People are saying that his job is on the line right now. I just don't agree with that personally. Me personally, we can talk about that in just a second, actually, if we want to. But me personally, I don't agree with that. I think Mike Schwartz, if you guys remember correctly, last year we found ourselves in a very similar position. We lost to UNCW. We lost to some teams we should not have lost to. And we had a pretty bad record going into December. And I remember one of the first episodes I had in December where I was telling you guys, it's like, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. Mike Schwartz's job is on the line.
I was calling for Mike Schwartz's head.
I was too.
Yep.
And we started back up, and Mike Schwartz turned this thing around. He got production out of guys who we didn't expect. Have you told me in December of last year that we were going to finish the year with a winning record, I wouldn't have believed you. But Mike Schwartz turned this thing around. He did the unexpected, and he rightfully earned himself this job for this year, because I would have fired him last year if I was the athletic director before we even got to January, to be honest with you. And I would have regretted that. But, that's why I don't have the athletic director job, to be honest with you. That's why I don't make those decisions. But at the same time, I trust Mike Schwartz after last year. He's earned my trust. And I think that we need to give him some more time with this. We've seen some good stuff out of Tybo Bailey. I like a lot what I've seen out of him. He just gets himself into foul trouble pretty early on, and that's why we don't see him enough. I think if we can control his fouls, I think Tybo Bailey could be somebody very useful in the lineup. He's not going to be he's not going to be like a Jordan Riley where he's going to get 28 points, but he could have some games where he gets 20. I could easily see that. And it's something that Tybo Bailey is going to be key if we're going to turn this season around, especially after what I've seen from him so far. Reed Kaysen is another one. I've saw some good things out of him so far. Hopefully we can get more production out of him consistently. But overall, it's just a matter of what can Mike Schwartz do to get the most consistent things out of the players on the court on any given game day. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Gentlemen, is there anything else y'all want to discuss, assess anything, Mike Schwartz situation, anything like that?
Mike Schwartz has been on the hot seat since he got hired at ECU, and he's still here. I think he finds a way to be resilient and turn it around, or at least make the situation not as bad, stop the bleeding a little bit, maybe.
I will agree with that, too. Last but not least, I told you guys we were going to talk about it. Bowl projections here. Pirate Radio just yesterday, I believe it was, sent out a few projections that we could potentially be at. And I'm just going to list them all for you guys right now. The projection so far is either Myrtle Beach against Georgia Southern, Liberty Bowl versus Cincinnati, Fenway versus Louisville, Armed Forces versus Kansas State, or Gasparilla versus Wake Forest. So those are the bowl projections. Obviously, these are just projections. They're not saying this is one of the 5 we're going to. And it's not even saying that's the opponent we would be playing in these bowl games. But those are the projections for it right now. Gentlemen, do y'all have a favorite of those that you would rather go to? Do you have a favorite opponent who'd you like to play? And what are your thoughts overall on what you want to see out of a bowl game?
Fenway. I don't want to get Fenway really bad. I think Boston would be cool for the Pirates to go to. I do think a lot of it, and I think you were probably going to mention this as well, some of this does come down to the athletic director, head coach, of where they want to play the bowl game. Does Blake Carroll maybe give us a lesser bowl game so certain guys do not leave the program? Example, Caden Hauser having a great game against a Louisville, Wake Forest, and showing what he can do. Because, I'm just saying this. If we were to play Louisville in a bowl game and Caden Hauser balls out, Jeff Brom is losing Miller Moss. Jeff Brom's a good quarterback coach. I can see Caden Hauser maybe getting some money from Louisville to go there. So, based off that, I could see maybe getting put into the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Now, I'm cool with really any of those bowls besides the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I want to play against a good team. Also, the Myrtle Beach Bowl is like December 19th on a random Friday at noon. I don't like that. Give me something else. Armed Forces Bowl, also January 2nd. That's me right after New Year. I ain't flying in to Texas. off the new year, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fenway would be cool. Who do I want to play? Honestly, give me Wake Forest.
I was gonna say Wake.
Wake Forest is one.
Give
yeah.
me Wake Forest just because of how Blake Harrell handled himself in the press conference after we beat NC State last year in the Military Bowl, basically saying he wanted to put more North Carolina teams on the schedule. Be cool to play another North Carolina
them
team.
canceling.
I was gonna say I want to play them for them canceling
their game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So they canceled their game here, so I'd like to play them anyway. Just be like, all right, guys, you want to cancel the game? We're gonna play anyway, and then it'd be almost personal game at that point to be like, all right, let's go prove a point here.
Yep.
So I agree. I want to. Wake Forest is one of those teams I definitely would like to play. I was telling Cannon earlier, and I'd be a little hesitant about this, but the teams I want to play is, first of all, I want to play a Power 4 school just because of the fact that like it's a way to prove that we belong, kind of in that scene type deal. I think that's one thing I want to do. I want to play a Power 4 school if possible. I'm a little nervous about playing a Power 4 school for that reason that you just mentioned about I don't want these coaching staff trying to poach our guys. I don't want that to happen, but I also want to be able to prove that we can go up against anybody at the same time. So it's a little catch-22 on that one, but at the same time, I think it's for bragging rights purposes. If you're going to play a bowl game, I don't care if we beat Georgia Southern. I care if we beat Wake Forest. I care if we beat Louisville, schools like that. That being said, as far as traveling goes, if it's within a reasonable distance, I would like to go to this bowl game. I know last year I wasn't able to go to the Military Bowl, and that one pained me a little bit that I wasn't able to do that. I had a family obligation that I could not go to that one. Cannon did go to that game. I was hoping to be able to go to that one. Could not. So I would like to go to a bowl game.
But hey, I didn't get to go to the Memphis game, so
fair. It'll even itself out on that. But not really, but kind of.
Yours is better. I mean,
I don't know. I think that's debatable, but
it's debatable depending on who you ask.
Fair. That being said, I think I would like to go to the bowl game for this being my last ever football game as a student. I would like to go to it. So hopefully for that, I want to within reasonable distance.
Myrtle Beach would make sense.
Myrtle Beach would make sense.
And I understand
for that.
Yeah.
But I don't want the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
I want the distance of Myrtle Beach, but I don't want the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
I don't want the day or time of Myrtle Beach Bowl. So
I'd be cool with the Military Bowl again. I would be.
Honestly, I would.
And Annapolis is cool. So
I would too. So that being said, I really just don't know. I mean, I would also preferably, now that there's only 3 schools in North Carolina that are Power 4 and are bowl eligible, or actually 4. I forgot NC State was bowl eligible, but I doubt they're going to put us against State again. Wake Forest, Duke, Clemson, and NC State.
And 7 Carolinas in general. Gotcha.
In the Carolinas. Not just North
Coastal's bowl eligible.
Oh, Coastal too. I don't want to play Coastal. We played Coastal
fair.
earlier this year. I don't want to play them again.
No, I agree. I'm just saying they are.
Forgot about Coastal. You're right. Coastal's also bowl eligible. Out of those, I would want to play either a Clemson or Wake Forest. If we played Clemson, I think we'd get beat pretty bad. Well, by pretty bad, I mean like 2 scores. But I wouldn't
Hey,
mind.
Mike Houston revenge game for us.
I would like to play Clemson just out of this fact of like, okay, this is kind of cool. We're playing Clemson. It's one of our better years. They're in a down year. We're going to be playing at Clemson in a few years anyway. I'd rather do it on a neutral site and have a better chance at it than doing it at Clemson. The problem is, let's say hypothetically in a world where we do beat Clemson, 2 years when we play them, it's going to be all gas for Clemson. They're going to want to beat the crap out of us. So, but that being said, Clemson would be cool. I've got family that went to Clemson for bragging rights purposes. That'd be kind of cool.
My brother's fiance did go to Clemson, so
it would be kind of cool to play Clemson for that reason. Wake Forest. My grandma went to Wake Forest. Would be kind of, I'm not gonna talk crap to my grandma, but
Nick's telling family lore today.
Oh yeah, not gonna talk crap to my grandma, but she did go to Wake Forest, so it's also like family stuff that like, okay, I want bragging rights over whoever we play. But yeah, say out of those, which one do you think we'll end up getting?
I mean, I really don't know because it's not like there's really any unified, however you want to say it,
Right.
Projection that we've had. Like earlier this year, like I saw like in 1 week we had like 3 people projecting us in the Hawaii Bowl. And now that's not, people aren't projected for us that at all. There's really not one. There's not one that's been projected as a lot. So like I really don't know what. Now, obviously, I want the Fenway Bowl because that'd be cool, but also it's 11 hours away, so that's also tough. So yeah, I really don't know. I'm cool with whatever, honestly. Give me just a good bowl, good game, good school.
Yeah, I mean, of the in-state schools, I feel like just because of the projections, we probably see Wake. But based off the projections too, I'd also love to play Cincinnati. I think that game would just be electric
cool,
because
yeah.
their offense is so good.
Yeah.
It would
That
just
would
be
be
a
a cool game.
shootout. It would be fun to watch.
Going to Memphis, and I don't know if I want to go to Memphis though. Like that's
Yeah.
in Memphis, like man.
Yeah. And playing Cincinnati too. I mean, that's a former American school right there. We could play them again for the first time. So, it's been a little bit. It's not been too long, but it's been a little bit.
Probably since maybe like the year
I played them.
of
I
Sauce
remember we played them
Gardner,
my
the
freshman
year after.
No, wait. When did Cincinnati go to? When did Cincinnati leave the American?
I think the last year that they were in the
would-
American was the last year they had Sauce Gardner.
Is that? I could have sworn we played Cincinnati my freshman year.
I don't know if we played them, but I think they were in the conference then. I think that was their last year in the
I thought they
conference.
came. Maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like they came to Dowdy Ficklin around that time.
Can's gonna Google it for us real
Yeah,
fast.
because y'all are annoying me. Keep talking about it.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna Google that real fast for you. But no, I agree with you. I think Cincinnati would be cool. I could see
We
Gasparilla.
played them. Yes, we did play in November 2022.
Okay.
Cincinnati won 27-25.
Okay, so yeah, we played them in November of 22. So that was, I'm assuming, American Conference when we played them. Actually, yeah, we wouldn't have played them if it wasn't the American, and especially in November. So yeah, we wouldn't have played them if they weren't the American then. So 2022 is when they left. But yeah, that being said, Cincinnati would be cool again. Gentlemen, one last thing for this podcast, unless you guys have anything else. Obviously, the transfer portal window is going to be opening up soon. We're going to lose somebody, and we're going to lose somebody big. We always do. Who do you guys think that one player? Well, obviously, there's going to be more than one player, more than likely. But who do you guys think is somebody to keep your eye on? They could probably be leaving us after this year.
Jamarly
I was
Riddle.
about to say, yours is the basic one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jamarly Riddle.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll say this one hasn't been as one much as we talked about. There's actually two I have, but I'll just say one. But this one I think is pretty evident. It was Yannick Smith.
Yeah.
dang it, that's one I wrote down.
But if you want me, I'll say the other one as well. Desiree Rouse.
Okay,
He's still young.
I think one of the tight ends would.
I think Connor would stick around, especially if JDB sticking around. And if Rouse is leaving, Connor's going to be the number one tight end.
Yeah.
True.
I think that a lot of the reason why Rouse got the ball more than Connor, though, was not even necessarily either one's fault. I think Caton just liked throwing the ball to Rouse more. And so I don't really think it's Rouse's fault. I think that's just really what it is, or Connor's fault. But I think them two are gone.
One I'm curious about, I wrote it down, I'm not sure if we'd see him leave or not, would be Raheem Jeter. And I say that
He's
because
gone. He's gone.
I would say that
We have
because
Dida and Hodge.
that's the reason why I say that, is because we have Dida and Hodge, and the fact that we did not use Raheem Jeter at all in our 2
And
win
you
season.
have the transfer portal still like how it is now. We could get like a veteran guy.
I agree. So that's why I'm like, I think Raheem Jeter is somebody who I think would be moving.
I think Chasten Dida is the starting quarterback if Caton Hauser were to lead the program.
I would agree.
Unless we bring in a guy.
I would agree with that. Do you have anybody else other than Riddle?
That is a pretty basic one. So.
I mean, that's just the glaringly obvious one to me. I
Yeah.
feel like you don't see a guy put up this type of season and not have every big school.
I think
knocking at the
he's
door.
gone. Yeah, I really do think he's gone.
We're not going to be able to match the package. It's going to
No,
be a
no
matter
question.
of if he wants to come back and
He's
play
a true
for Lakers.
sophomore and he's balling
He's
like
gone.
this. Yeah.
He's going to the SEC probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Or the ACC.
He's South Carolina. I think he's a Georgia kid.
Screams the Key Barker situation.
Yeah.
The guy Barker, yeah.
Yeah, Barker's was a little bit more like he could leave, couldn't leave. Like I was like not surprised he left, but like Riddle, it's been evident since day one he's been gone. Where Barker was like, maybe he'll stick around.
Yeah.
Like
I agree with that. Well, gentlemen, since this is the last podcast, do you guys have anything that you guys want to do before we close out this one?
Nope.
it's been a good semester, boys.
It has been a good
So
season.
Running it back.
We will-
Running it back with
all
someone
three-
else, whoever it is.
Yeah,
So-
with a new person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fourth
we will
person.
be running this back in the spring. All three of us will be returning, and there'll be one more person will be joining us in the spring.
Prime time
You
player.
guys will be able to find out who that is in the springtime. But until next time, thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode of TECSpertz. We'll be back next month, next semester for a whole new TECSpertz. whole new thing. Whole new chapter of that's a good way of putting it. A whole new chapter of TECSpertz. But until next time, go
Go
Pirates.
Pirates.